9 years ago, on March 8, 2014, the Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, headed to Beijing. However, not only did it never touch down, but it essentially vanished into thin air. None of the passengers, alive or dead, were ever found. Neither was the plane, despite extensive searches or black box recorder were ever uncovered. Amid the many theories surrounding its disappearance, authorities have been unable to accurately ascertain what happened, leaving 239 victims' families unable to comprehend what happened to their loved ones. Now, almost a decade on, a new 3-part Netflix documentary series will examine the case once again. MH370, The Plane That Disappeared, directed by Lois Malkinson, brings together the victims' family members, investigators, scientists, and journalists who are still searching for answers because, as the synopsis states, they won't give up because the truth doesn't just vanish. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll discuss all the conspiracy theories related to one of aviation's biggest ever mysteries. But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Let's dive in. What happened in the case of Flight MH370? After taking off from Kuala Lumpur, the plane stayed on course until just under an hour later. The last voice contact was made at 1:19 Malaysian Standard Time, and 3 minutes later, it disappeared off the air traffic control radar. Officials said the plane's transponder was turned off over the South China Sea shortly after an individual, either the pilot or co-pilot, said, "Good night, Malaysian 370. It was still being tracked on military radar, however, and it was seen to suddenly divert from the route, sharply turning away from its northeastern course to head to the west toward the Malay Peninsula. But at 2:22, it reached the edge of the military range, and at about 230 miles from Penang, it effectively disappeared, without any distress calls, and what followed was the biggest and most expensive aviation search in history. Analysis of the satellite communication with the flight established that it likely continued flying for another 6 hours until around 8:19, which is when the fuel would have probably run out, with the Malaysian government later concluding that it likely ended up in the southern Indian Ocean. For 2.5 years, a multinational search returned relatively little, despite covering an area of 46,000 square miles. Various parts of the plane have since been recovered, such as a flaperon found in July 2015 on a beach in Reunion, an island in the western Indian Ocean, or the right stabilizer found on a beach in southern Mozambique on February 2016. However, as the main bulk of the plane has never been found, it's led some experts, such as Gung Cheng, a mathematician from Texas A&M University, to hypothesize that the plane plunged vertically into the sea. As CNN stated, simply put, a plane hitting the water at an angle would scatter its parts across the surface of the water, but one hitting at a near vertical angle would shoot into the water with minimal damage and zoom straight to the bottom. Here we take a look at some of the theories that have been put forward since the plane disappeared in 2014. Hijacking was suggested as a possible cause almost immediately after the plane disappeared. More than 600 runways were identified where hijackers could have supposedly landed the plane. However, as PM Najib Razak confirmed, the plane's final position was too far away from any landing sites for this to be possible as an explanation. When parts of flight MH370 began washing up a year after the plane vanished, the idea that it had been hijacked and flown to an unknown location became highly unlikely. The most popular theories for the plane up till now are: 1. The plane crashed. Debris, either confirmed or believed to be from MH370, has washed up over the years. The first piece of debris was found on the shore of the Indian Ocean in the island of Reunion in 2015, and other pieces have since been discovered in Tanzania, Mozambique, South Africa, Madagascar, and Mauritius. A total of 33 pieces of debris have been found by December 2016 per Reuters, but only 3 have been positively identified as being from MH370. This indicates that the plane crashed, potentially into the Indian Ocean. In an official report from the Malaysian government about the disappearance in July 2018, Dr. Kuk Soo Chun said at a press conference that no record of malfunction or defect in the aircraft that could have contributed to the disappearance had been found. 2. The plane was shot down because of its cargo. One theory suggested in the documentary suggests that the plane could have been shot down over the South China Sea, allegedly because of the cargo that the plane was carrying. The families of those who were on board the plane called for the Malaysian government to look into whether there was shrapnel evident in the debris that had been identified as being from MH370, per Reuters. 3. The pilot was responsible. Another theory explained in the Netflix documentary is whether MH370 disappeared as part of a murder-suicide plot by pilot Zahari Ahmad Shah. The pilot's home flight simulator appeared to indicate he had flown a similar route, where the plane was diverted from its intended path. The theory suggests he manually switched off radar communications and depressurized the cabin, leaving the plane on autopilot until it ran out of fuel and crashed. However, in the government's official report, Cook said, "We have examined the pilot and the first officer, and we are quite satisfied with their background, with their training, with their mental health. We are not of the opinion that it could have been an event committed by the pilot." 4. The plane was hijacked. One theory that was suggested was that MH370 was hijacked during its journey, with a claim in the documentary saying that Russian hijackers took over the plane to distract attention from Moscow's occupation of Crimea. This theory was suggested because another Malaysian Airlines flight was shot down by a Russian missile while it was flying over Ukraine in July 2014. In the government's official report, Cook said that they were not ruling out any suggestion that a third party was involved in MH370's disappearance, which adds some weight to the theory. He said it has been established that the air turn back was done under manual control, not autopilot. We cannot rule out any unlawful interference by a third party. However, it was stressed that no terrorist organization has publicly claimed responsibility for the plane's disappearance. 5. U.S. military was responsible. Another theory touted by Mark Dugain, former director of Proteus Airlines, suggests that the plane was shot down by the U.S. military, which was then covered up. Dugain claimed MH370 was shot down to avoid the plane crashing into the American military base on the island of Diego Garcia, per The Independent. What do you think happened to Flight MH370? Let us know in the comment section below. That was all from us today, folks. For more similar content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.